Hey guys, it's Heather the Crochet Witch. How are you guys doing? So I have a bit of an update for you. I'm not sure what we're gonna call this video. Maybe like the movie Marquee year in review. I'm not really sure. I don't know. I guess I'll have time to think of a name later, but yeah. So I wanted to this is like a culmination of a couple different ideas that I've been running with. Number one, of course, being the movie Marquee, which I talk about a lot on this channel now. But number two is my crocheting my way out of a corner. My corner being my desk, my working like desk area out in the technically dining room, but we really use it as a living room area, like an extension of our living room area out there that you see me video from often enough. I have managed to, especially like through the fall and winter when it's been cold, and because it's my working desk area that I just referred to, I've managed to put a lot of my whips, just surround myself. I know I've mentioned that several times in several recent videos, and they've just kind of collected and I've burrowed myself in there. And amongst them were several of the like more unfinished movie Marquee projects. Like, I don't think this last year, for the most part, I did finish all of them. There were a few that I showed you that had like some ends not done, or I said like, I might want to do another section, or I might want to make this bigger, or whatever, that kind of thing. Or like, I'm going to show it to you now, but it really needs to be finished by the end of the month kind of deal. And like, I'd record it before the end of the month, that kind of, it was nothing too heinously bad. Whereas like in years beforehand, I was like, look, I just failed. I'll have to make up for this later. And that, it was never that bad, like on that scale. Maybe because I had a little more sense of purpose this time, I like wanted to donate these things. Sorry, I got distracted. I like hit record and then realized that I think I'm always apologizing for my nails and telling you like they're breaking off and this and that, and saying I'm used to having these nice long nails. Well, I think this nice long nail broke. Anyway, so I was fiddling with it. I completed all of them. They're over here in a nice pile. So I thought we'd have a nice year in review. I would officially go through just all of them because I have a two-parter. I have a twofer. I not only would like to just show off, prove to the world that I finished everything. I also have a stack of, you can see it, just the corner of it right here. I have a stack of granny squares that I made from the leftover yarn bits from the blankets, because I want to make these are going for a donation for a very special charity that I wanted to get in contact with again, that I had talked to before the year started in 2024. And I had been waiting to hear from them. It's the Noah Project, which is a no-kill shelter that is close to me. I had first heard about them. Like, none of this is a sponsor. Like, they don't sponsor me. This app that I'm about to talk about does not sponsor me. Nobody sponsors me. No sponsorship whatsoever. It's an app that I found that you can download. I know you can download it from the Android version, from the Google Play Store. I don't know about iPhone or anything like that. I don't know about Apple products at all. I don't own one at all, to my knowledge. I don't think so. No Apple in this house, I don't think. Unless David has something I don't know about. But Maverick, you don't, right? But the Treat app, if you haven't heard of it, is basically where you can go. It's free. You go, you don't have to make an account or anything like that. And you pick a shelter. There are participating shelters, one of which is very close to me, called the Noah Project. And they put their different dogs on. I don't think there's a cat version. I guess there might be, but I was like, ooh, dogs. But there might be cats. You pick a dog from whichever shelter you pick. I picked the Noah Project because it was so close to me. And you basically just play a little board game. You roll a little dice or you spin a dial or whatever. They change from time to time, but I think it's a little dice currently. You roll a little dice, your little dog goes around the board, and you collect treats or dog food, depending on what they land on. And once you fill up your little dial, I think it's sponsored by Chewy, and they send out a little bag of treats or dog food or whatnot to the shelter in the name of that pet from you. So, it's pretty cool. They actually do send them. So, from what I understand, I never watched them physically pack them and send them and stuff, but from what I understand, they actually do it. They do show little actual videos of them receiving it, so I presume they actually do it. But there's, and you can, this is not something you have to do, but you can sponsor, like you can give them your PayPal or credit card information should you choose, and pick a level. There's, I think, 3 different levels where you can sponsor your dog, and that way you don't have to forget to log in and lose your progress, and your dog loses the food progress bar or whatever. You send automatic shipments per week or month or whatever it is to them, so that your dog does always get sponsored dog food. So you can choose if you want. You don't have to do that. You can just play the game and send your dog treats and food for free. So it is literally free if you want it to be. No gimmicks, or at no point are they like, oh, you ran out of lives, now you have to pay, or it's nothing like that where they trick you. But that being said, I sponsor 2 dogs. And so I got in touch with the Noah Project before last year's movie Marquee started. And they were thrilled to have donations for crocheted blankets, because they were looking for blankets basically all winter is when they start looking. So I was really happy about that. And they have a wish list of things that they want on Amazon and things like that. Now this is not to confuse anybody with the hopefully upcoming auction that I'm hopeful to sort out and put together quickly coming up for the other shelter that I discovered. This was an already in the works and year-long progress, thing going on, and doesn't make the Noah Project any less special. And I would still want to donate my work to them, my time to them. Money-wise, the other shelter, which I'll talk about in a different video altogether, and the reason that currently right now I'm not saying I'm going to drop the Noah shelters information down below, and I'm sure they would understand right now, is because this other shelter by February desperately needs to save their building. And this is the extent that I'm going to talk about them in this video, because this is about the Noah shelter. But that's the reason why I'm not dropping links to them and everything like that. The other shelter is called For the Sake of Being Humane, and it is in a different city, and they're in danger of losing their entire facility, which is so sad. Yeah, so they're the ones that I've been talking about, trying to get my items out and organized and everything. These blankets and stuff are not going to them. These are the ones that I had already promised and we're getting ready and everything to go to the Noah shelter. But in an upcoming video, I am going to attempt to get an auction ready for the sake of being humane. Just to clear everything up for that. This is the movie Marquee, like, rewind video. But yeah, I do want to get that ball rolling too. So many really good pet charities running through my mind right now. But yeah, I really would like to try to do my part to get this other facility saved. And then after February, you know, I feel torn between both of these places right now. I'll find a happy medium between them once I find out the fate of the second one. But yeah. Anyway, I just didn't want confusion that there are two different ones. The Noah project, as far as I know, is in no danger of losing their facility. They're just in a different area and everything like that. But anyway, so let me show you the completed projects and stuff that are going to the Noah shelter. And I will show you, they're letting me, I believe they are still going to let me choose what blankets go to what dogs. So the 2 dogs that I'm sponsoring, at least, I would really like to pick what blankets go to them. So I'll show you what I was thinking of to go to my dogs. I'm really excited about that. So the first month, which obviously was January of last year, the movie that was picked was Rock of Ages, and I'll try to remember to edit in the posters, since that was the whole deal with the movie Marquee, but was Rock of Ages. So there should be the poster right there. Let that sit for a minute because I do have to hold the blanket up. But the blanket that I had finished for that is right here. And these aren't huge blankets because I had to, in a month, complete them and keep the stitches really tight and small so little claws didn't go through them, right? But that is the, and I don't know if this is upside down. I don't remember the colors on the blanket or on the cover anymore. I don't remember which way was up and which way was down. But I know I tried to make like a homage to the cover of the album or of the movie with these tiles. I do remember that. I remember being pretty proud of that idea. And I hoped that some puppy would really like this blanket. It's a decent size. I mean, it's, you know, I would have called this baby blanket size. But that was the first one that I had gotten done for January. And then I guess I'll show you the squares that I got done for the blanket also, like as we go. So I don't have to put the poster back up to remind us of the colors. But the yarn that I had left over, I'll put these next to me here. That might draw a wild maverick in here, but the yarns that I had left over, I had this square, and this square for this movie. So those are the 3 squares that I had gotten done. Let's see, let's put that right here, separate pile. And then for February, we had Bella's pick, and she had done the movie Down with Love. So this was Bella's pick. And I did this blanket right here, which I remember being I remember first of all being frustrated because these were Caron cinnamon swirl cakes, and like basically this section was one cake and this section was one cake. And I wanted to make the blanket a little bit bigger, but I had only had 2 cakes. So I added a green here, right? It wasn't a wait, was it a full, yeah, it was a full cake, because even my squares did not get, I don't believe, my squares got just scraps of what was left of here. Like there is barely any, because I used green in my squares even, right? And I was very irritated because these were a special colorway, I believe, like a limited edition colorway, I think. At least it was discontinued, if nothing else, so I couldn't get more of it. And I was very like bummed by that, because I had wished I had another 1 or 2 of these. And then a month or 2 after the challenge, I found 2 more. Like here in the house, I found 2 more. I was so irritated by that. But I made it work. It's an okay size. It's still, honestly, it's still probably baby blanket size. And I remember as the months went by, I was like, I should do this pattern again, because I really love doing the single crochet like ripple stitch. And for me, even though they're single crochets, it goes really fast. And then I never did it because I was like, I don't want to do the same thing over again, like right away. And even like towards the end of the year, I was thinking, I don't want to do the same thing over again right away. Well, right away, this was February. So I don't know why I didn't do it again. But spoiler alert, I did not ever do it again. I should have. So, but yes. And it's so soft and it's so nice. Like I really, really like this blanket. But that's what I had done for February. I even really actually like this green stripe going down the middle of it. Like to break it up. So that is February's blankie. And then the squares that I got out of that, I got 2 squares. So I only got 2 squares, and green is pretty well used in that too. That was just the scrappiest of scraps from the cakes. I used almost all of the cakes. So that was that. And then March's movie is right here. That was Samantha's pick. March's movie was Five Nights at Freddy's. I love that movie so much. Foxy's my absolute favorite character. I really love that movie. Not as much as Samantha. Samantha's quite the fan of Five Nights at Freddy's. But I got to use a very neon-y, amazing, awesome yarn. This is, it's just Red Heart. Super savory. Ooh, look at that blown out glowy yarn. But I did a new stitch that I had never done. This is quite a sizable blanket too. So I actually remember I was so worried that like the bigger dogs wouldn't have that many blankets, but quite a few, especially of my earlier blankets, ended up being pretty big blankets. Like they're not huge cuddle under blankets, but they're not bad sized. Like these would fit Maverick's crate, and he's got the big size crate. So like the biggest size crate. So I don't know what I was that worried about as far as the bigger dogs not having anything. Like it fits, it's my wingspan this way, and they're longer. Like almost all of my blankets that I make are longer than they are wide. So I don't know what I was that worried about. But this is the spider stitch, because I remember thinking I was so funny and so clever because I made a spooky blanket in a spider stitch. And the colors just fell this way for the most part. Like I think I color controlled as I changed skeins of yarn, just to make the, you know, the same color pattern. But for the most part, it just fell that way, which I was pretty happy about. So I think it came out beautiful. I really love it. And I have more of this yarn, which I'm extremely happy about. Like, I really love, to me, this yarn says Halloween all the time. I love it. Like, day glow Halloween. I love it. I really hope a puppy loves this one. I love this one. Like, I kind of want to make a heather one, a heather blanket out of this in the same stitch and everything. And I only got 2 squares out of that. I definitely have more yarn, but I probably didn't want to bust it because I don't remember ever having a scrap of this. So maybe it just worked out really well that I didn't have much scrap left or something. I don't remember, but that's what I have. I could have swore I had a bunch of these squares made, but okay, so that's what I have. Then I have what is really, oh, sorry. You know what? I should probably put the project up, huh? Or the movie up. For April, back to my month. For April, I picked Dazed and Confused, which is definitely not my typical type of movie, but you've seen a little more of my not so typical side in the movie Marquee challenges, I think. It's definitely more of a comedy, kind of stoner type movie. Honestly, I know it is, but I really found it really funny. I've really loved that movie since high school, honestly. I thought it was so funny back then even. And I love the 70s vibe that's in it. Like, just, you know me and like the vintagey 70s, 80s. I can't get enough of it. I never could. I have always loved it. Even in the 80s. I was not a high schooler in the 80s, but I was barely alive in the 80s, but I still loved that vibe in high school, you know. Anyway, so with those colors in mind, I made basically my first, it's either going to end up being a blanket for like a really small puppy, as my guess, or a cat mat, because I made it pretty darn thick in thinking that it would end up being for a cat, like, you know, to, you know, squish up on or something to knead. But I ended up holding yarn double to like mix like that cloudy haze in the movie. But that was and it is real thick and squishy and everything. But that was my Dazed and Confused cover, which I was so proud of when I made that. I do remember. Several of these I remember being very proud of. But it was not that big. So yeah, it would be for, like I said, it would definitely be for like a puppy or something if they give it to a dog, I'm sure, or like a Jack Russell or something, like a smaller dog. But, you know, that's okay. I don't care. I don't care who gets it. Whoever has use in it, you know, gives some comfort to. I don't care. But all of these, I believe all of these are made from acrylic. No, there's one that's made from Caron cakes, but I mean Caron cakes, you can launder Caron cakes. They're fine being laundered, so. And from that one, I only got 1 square, but it's the basic colors from there. So that is my 1 square. Then, for May, we go back to Bella's pick, and She's the Man is up next here. And if I remember that movie poster correctly, I think there was probably a lot of white in the background, But I remember I think I picked off some of their like clothing colors, like jeans and such, to grab some of the colors that I grabbed. And that was, I first played around with a corner moss stitch, and something went a little bit wonky with it. Let me see if I can get it all. Like the one side, this side, if you're really looking at it, is quite straight. It's fine. There's nothing really wrong with this side. And then you can already see the little wave in the middle. And then this side, I feel like there's a bit of a curve you can just see. Like the camera actually accentuates it a little. When you're looking straight at it, I don't know. I don't feel like it looks as bad. And then I look at it in the camera and it just looks like almost like a half moon. Like I feel like it looks way worse. But it is definitely something went a bit wrong. Like I'm so less than thrilled. But that being said, it doesn't look so terrible that, I mean, it doesn't like jut out to there or anything, like, you know, it's not like the worst thing ever. It's just off. Something definitely went off with it. But it's for a puppy. I don't think the puppy's going to judge me. When I did this, in the month that it came out, a lot of you guys said the same thing, that the puppy's not going to judge me and the puppy's going to love it. And one of the dogs that I sponsor is an old man. And I was thinking, this looks like really great old man colors. And honestly, even though this one's got, I feel like this has a little bit of character to it with the, you know, the funny curve on it and stuff like that. And I really actually kind of hope they'll let me give this to him. So this might be, if they let me still choose, I think this is going to my little old man dog. Does this look like a little old man blanket to you? What do you think? So, yeah, see when I line up the top of it, the top lines up pretty nicely, and then it just goes wrong. This makes it look awful. This makes it look awful. But it's just because there is a definite curve. I think he will like it. Laying it flat, it does not look that bad. But folding it up like that, it looked awful. I'm gonna go with it though. I'm gonna go with that. I got a couple of squares left over. I really like these colors. I really like the colors. So those are my 2 squares. And then we went to June, and June was Samantha's pick. It was Insidious the Red Door. We are definitely back in my genre again, of horror. And I tried the same stitch again. And I held 2 yarns together for this one. I held a mandala together, which is already kind of thin, with another thin roving yarn that was a solid red. And the fabric came out amazing to me. Because you can see the mandala did the color change and the red stayed consistent all the way through. I loved that. It went wonky again, but not as wonky. trying to show you. I think you can see maybe down here that it's a little bit oddly shaped. I don't know. Like, I feel like the camera accentuated the last one. This one doesn't feel like you can definitely see it's uneven, and like it goes up and then way down. So it's like it went wonky in a different side, in a different way. So I can't even say I made the same mistake. Maybe I did, because it seems like it goes up this way a little bit too. I don't know what I did, you guys. I don't know. But it's not wonky to the same degree that the last one was. But I still really actually like it. And it's thick, but yet it's drapey. It's very odd in a good way. It's odd in a good way. And it's not very holey, which is important. That's the important thing, because of the two yarns held together. I don't think pretty much all of these have been Maverick approved and tested. Now see, it's doing it. Hold on. This is what. So I'm lining up the sides, and look. So it definitely wonky. But again, I am gonna roll with it, and I don't think a puppy is going to be like, Heather, I'm not accepting this. Go back and do it again. I can't believe that you gave me this. I don't think they're gonna do that. So we're gonna roll with it. The squares from that. See, I definitely got a lot more squares from that one. I held them double again because I needed the yarn to work out the same, like I needed the squares to end up the same size. And I really like the effect that had. So I had that one. This one kind of looked candy cane-ish. And then the gray one. So those are the 4 squares I got from that one. Then for July, we're back to my pick. And this one was by far my favorite month. We had Gran Turismo. You know, any chance that I have had over the years, I snuck in a David Harbour movie. Just because I like to Easter egg David Harbour any chance I get into any of my movie stuff or videos for you guys, or anything that I do. Pretty much any day that I have in life, I'd like to make a David Harbour day. Any chance I get. So, for Gran Turismo, I kept the moss stitch. I did not do corner to corner. I was done with corner to corner. I was done with it. But we did in the round, and I used ice yarn cakes that I had. And we did a rectangle. I was pretty happy with the way this came out, and I was pretty happy to use the ice yarn that I had. Actually, I really like the way this came out, and it was very sizable. I don't remember how many cakes I had, you guys. I used them all, though. Like, I do remember that I used all of them. This came out to a pretty good size. Sorry, I'm trying to make sure I don't sound muffled behind it. So I'm like poking my head around to talk and then trying to show you guys. So, but that came out a really good size. It's again really drapey, and yet not really, it's not holey. Maverick tested and approved. I didn't really do borders on, any of these. Mostly because of the time. I think for all of these, I was pretty much finishing them right at the time limit, and then the couple that I finished after the time limit. But I mean, I don't think the puppies care. I really, really like this. It also looks to me kind of like a rug, which isn't a bad thing. Like, I mean, I think it looks cool. So, and it's a big size. I think it is very pretty. I hope a puppy really likes it. And the squares that I got this one. I really like that square a lot. And then I got this one. I just really like these colors a lot. I'm so happy that I got to use them for this movie. So I got those squares. And then we're on to August, which August was Bella's pick, and it was Oscar, Sylvester Stallone. And there was a lot of reds in that one, but there was also different like pink tones and gray tones. So I ended up using, this one was the Caron cake one. I ended up using almost all of my red velvet Caron cakes. And I also got another sizable blanket. I forgot how many like sizable blankets came out of this. I'm very pleased with this. And I did, you know what? You know what else I think is funny? I said I didn't in the beginning, like in all the way back in February, I said, I don't want to repeat this chevron stitch because I don't want to like do another chevron stitch if I've already done one so soon. Do you realize how many of these blankets have been moss stitch? Like in different variations. This is moss stitch. This one is just straight moss stitch. This is the top of it, but again, it comes at did I hold this double? Yeah, I held this one double too. So this is Caron cakes held double. It looks really cool. I had to make sure. I remember making sure that none of them lapped color. So there was no like gray held with gray and that kind of thing. So it had this really cool like tweedish, marble-ish looking effect. But it looks really cool. I like that. And then yeah, that's another one that is the full length of my wingspan. And then it's definitely longer than it is wide. And this is another one that looks like it could be like a carpet if I put nonstick stuff on the other side. And I'm okay with that. Like, I think it looks really cool. Obviously, it's not going to be because it is going to a puppy. But I hope the puppy likes it. And it's another one that's, you know, a big dog could love this one. Then we are into September. For September, Samantha picked The Evil Dead Rise, which this project is one of the ones that I did not finish on time. Because originally oh no, you know what? I'm sorry. I'm gonna go back real quick. The squares from Oscar. I got 5 squares from the Oscar movie. I got 1, 2, 3, 4. I really like this one. And 5 squares from the Oscar movie. And I have the next one out of order. So I'm gonna put that in order real quick. Okay. Now we're gonna talk about the Evil Dead Rise. I had originally envisioned it as like a pretty small cat mat again. And so I had gotten out 2 yarns, and when I had set it down, it was right here. This is what I'd ended with, right? And I'd actually thought, that might not be so bad. I might just leave it like this. It's a 2-tone, it's a cat mat, it's, it is what it is. We could just leave it that way. What I had intended was, if I make it any bigger, I'm just going to add the burgundy to the other side. I'm going to call it a day. Because it's a cat mat. It's not meant to be that big. And then I added the burgundy. So there is another, you can see the burgundy right there, right? There is another stripe of it. But when I added that other stripe, then I was really unhappy with myself because I was like, why did I make it so wide for it to end up basically a square? It looks awkward. I didn't make it super thick. And to me, a cat mat should be super thick so that they can, claw at it. Otherwise, it's basically a blanket. And I'm like, if it's a blanket, it can't be that small. Like it could be, but it doesn't feel right, right? So I ended up making another beige square also. So it ended up looking like this. At that point, I said, well, it's kind of setting off my OCD for a couple of reasons. One, I personally really don't like that it is starting with burgundy and ending in beige. Like, I really, really don't like that. It doesn't seem orderly to me, even though the numbers are even. I know it sounds crazy. I know it does. But to me, like in a blanket, it feels like it should be bookended. It makes sense in my brain, I promise. But my brain works in one other way, which is, I know I'm not measuring it yet, but if I were to add another burgundy section, it would make it look freakishly long. It would make it too thin for its length. So would I be more unhappy with how thin it was looking, like how weird dimensionally it was? Or am I more unhappy with the fact that it's not bookended in the right color? And I really struggled with that. I know that it's just a pet blanket, but it's still something that I was creating. And it was driving me insane that this one was the last project that I finished of the year because of that struggle. I'm telling you right now. I'm still not fully at peace with either decision. I was wishing that I had rethought life because of it. But I came to the best terms that I could, in which, you see the decision that I made. And I thought I was happy with it until we started talking right now. I mean, I am happy with it. I am happy with it. Maybe I'll be happier with it I might be happier with it this way. Because I started here, right? I know, I sound insane. But I'm happy with it. But anyway, if I had just made it smaller, it could have just been a cat mat. That all being said, I'm going to get away from all that I don't like about it, because what I do like about it, I used a G hook. And what I do like about it, I love the fabric. This is the lemon peel stitch with it, and I absolutely love the texture. This is a Big Twist, Joanne Big Twist yarn, and this is a Pound of Love. And I don't know how well, even getting it close, you can see the texture. Let me see if I can see while you can see. Yeah, you can see the texture like, it almost looks like a pebbled texture. But look at that. Just because the stitches are so tight. And I mean, it took me a little bit longer, even with such a small blanket, because of that. But I absolutely love it. Like, someday I would love to sit down and make a blanket, like a full-size blanket like this, just because I think that would just feel so wonderful, because it's such a thin material to be so textured, and I think it would be amazing. Like, I don't know if a kitty or a puppy would fully, be like, oh, I love the texture of this, like fully be amazed by that. But it's a nice thought, because I think it's cool. I'm gonna pretend that one of them really does love that, because I think it came out really cool. So that I do love about it, and I really do hope that one of them finds some comfort with it. So anyway, that was my struggle with this one. For such a small thing too. Like, honestly, I recognize that it's ridiculous. But yeah, that's how my brain works sometimes. I did get squares done with it with little to no issue. I got this one done. I got this one done, which I like a lot. And I got this one done. So I got 3 squares done for that one. And then we are on to October, mine, with the stand. And this, it might be a bigger size, but this is more of a proper, like, cat mat, because it's held double. It is very thick and squishy. Like, this sucker could almost stand on its own. Not literally, but like, it could almost stand on its own. This was another one that maybe it was because of time, I can't quite remember, but I wasn't fully thrilled with the, like, dimensions of it, because it was like black and pink, and then I kept the black going with black and orange, and then I kept the orange going with orange and purple, and then I kept the purple going with purple and pink, but the purple and pink, like, was a lot longer. Like, if this black and pink maybe had been as long as the purple and pink, that would have been better. But I think I ran out of time or something, and it just wasn't quite as long as I meant to make it. So really, I just annoyed myself with that one. But I'm gonna let it go. Because I have to. I have to at this point. But yeah, so that cat mat. Yeah. Cat mat in the stitches are so, like, mixed and tight that it's almost hard to tell. And, mixed because of the dark, yeah, it's the lemon peel stitch, I think. Yes, it is the lemon peel stitch. I'm pretty sure. We're going to go with that, because I believe it is. So that was my stand project. I am much happier with the squares for that. And this one. I really like this one. And I had this one. The black and the orange yarn were a Hobby Lobby recycled yarn, which I love. And then that one. So I got 4 squares out of that. And then for November, we were on Bella's pick with Clue. And I remember focusing on the different greens that were in the, like the pool table and the lights, I think, or something. And I came up with another cat mat sized. This could be for a little puppy though, because this one is a little more flexible. It's not a real thick cat mat either, but it is definitely cat mat sized, and it was intended to be a cat mat. Moss stitch again. But yes, that is what I had came up with for November. See, look at me going with the cat mats. But because I had done the smaller stuff here towards the end, I think that's what made me think that I didn't have anything big. And all through the beginning of the year and stuff, I had done bigger things. And you know why? I remember saying, I know the end of the year is going to be busier for me, so I want to get bigger blankets out of the way. I remember. See, past Heather was smarter than I give her credit for. Good job, past Heather. So anyway, there is the cat mat for Clue. And then the squares that I had, this right here, this right here, and this right here. It's starting to get cold in here, you guys. I need to stop talking and hurry up. My last few videos have all been so chatty. And cold. And then the last one for the year, December was Samantha's pick, and it was Trolls Band Together. See, I had to write it down, but I finally remembered it was Trolls Band Together. And my blanket ended up being a bigger blanket with some of the pinks and purples, and I added the blue that was a Red Heart Super Saver. And this one I think is going to be the one I would pick for my other sponsored dog, my girl dog. But this one also ended up being a sizable one because she's a big girl. And this one was the other one that was left partially, well, possibly unfinished. There was a few yarn ends to tie in, and then I was trying to decide if I wanted to do another section, like between the blues, and add another blue and do a section. But it was already, it's a pretty heavy blanket because it's pretty wide. This one's actually longer than my wingspan. But I didn't want it to be too heavy for her because it's already quite heavy. So I had left it sectionless and then had to sew the ends in. So that is that for the project, but it is all, as you can see, finished and sewn in. And yeah, if I get to choose, this is going to go to my sponsored girl, and hopefully she likes it. So the pictures that they show of her on the Treat app, she's got like one of the pictures is her in like a pink collar and everything. So she seems to be, you know, a princessy girly girl. So hopefully she would like something like this also. So hopefully. And then the squares, I really like this one too. So hopefully, you know, we could bond over it, you know. The squares, I got, this one had a little bit of like color dye moving over on it. I really, really like this square, like a lot. And it's like hot pink too. I like it. And that one was kind of a mixture of all the colors together here. And this one. And this one. Let me fold this up so I don't make a mess here of something. So I had been waiting for the Noah project to get back to me because I had messaged them and said, like, oh, I'm really sorry, that it took longer than I meant to, but I had ran a make-along on my channel and talked about you guys all year long, and I have everything. I didn't make just like one blanket to donate. I've made 12, and I let them know that some of them were cat mats, and so we've been talking about like a good time period to bring them and stuff, and what my days off were and everything. So coming up here within the next few weeks, I'm hoping to get up there like weather dependent and days off dependent and everything like that. Also dependent on, because I'm trying to get this other charity thing going also that has a time constraint on it. So just balancing the two things on my free time. But I will get this, going to them. But then at some point, I'm going to join. I believe, if I counted right, these make 35, which would be, a good sized lap blanket, throw blanket type of situation. Because it would make it 7 by 5 rows. So, and they're 6 round granny squares. So I'm not complaining. Maybe put a nice border on also. But that would be a nice little memory blanket right there, I believe. So I'm not going to complain about that. I was surprised looking back on them because I thought I had a few more of some of them made. But, that's okay. I also had more than a few made, or more than some made than I thought. So, but they're complete, and that's all that matters. I just have to get them joined up, and then at some point I will show you guys the blanket whenever I get a chance to finish it. I'm just glad the squares are made. So anyway, that is my 2024 year in review, and now to donate them, right guys? So hopefully you had fun looking back with me, and hopefully you tune in to the 2025 movie Marquee. Maybe join along if you so choose, and I hope so. I hope to see you guys in the Facebook group, or if you want to email it to me or message it to me and let me see what you guys are doing. I would love to see. And I know Bella and Samantha also would. And yeah. All right. On that note, I'm going to go. 'Cause as you can see, I've already been warming up over here. So we're going to get snow. We're already starting to get snow. I've heard it against the window over here. So, all right. I am actually going to let you go. And I will talk to you guys soon. All right. I love you so much. I love you. Bye, guys.